Hey, what's good, football fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hit the thumbs up down below in this video. All right, so the regular season has now come to an end for college football, and I will be recapping the games that took place in Week 14, and I'm just going to do the ACC games today. I'm not going to recap the bonus picks that I made for Rivalry Week. And I'll also have a separate video predicting all of the conference championship games that will be taking place this week. So just be on the lookout for that. And of course, my college football playoff bracket, what I think it should look like. And so let's get on down to it. So I've done pretty well in my picks this week. I only got 2 of them wrong. So let's talk about the games that took place this week. And of course, this was Rivalry Week. And this Rivalry Week did not disappoint. We had an amazing slate of football games this weekend. And I think this was, all around the country, I think that this was one of the most intense rivalry weeks that we've had in quite some time. And so this first game here, Stanford and San Jose State. So this game was at San Jose State. And, you know, I didn't even know that this game was a rivalry game, to be honest with you, until the announcer said something about that. But Stanford, they had a chance to win, and they blew it late once again. Ashton Daniels, I believe is his name, the quarterback for Stanford. He threw a late interception, and that won the game for San Jose State. And so dismal season comes to an end for Stanford. This next one, Georgia Tech and Georgia, clean old-fashioned hate. And this was the game of the season, not just in the ACC, but all around the country. This game went into 8 overtimes, and Georgia Tech had a chance to win it. They were up by 2 touchdowns with about 3 or 4 minutes to go. And that fumble by Haynes King late in the game is what was the turning point of this game. But my heart breaks for Georgia Tech. I thought they deserved to win that game. But this was just your classic in-state battle, back and forth, no surrender from either team. And but Georgia, nonetheless, they came away with a win. And Georgia essentially has locked up their college football playoff spot, regardless of what happens in the SEC championship. But man, Haynes King, he played out of his mind in that game. You know, he was responsible for over 400 total yards. That includes passing and rushing, and 5 total touchdowns. That guy was a warrior, and he wasn't 100% either. And so my heart breaks for Georgia Tech. But nonetheless, what a great game that was. Florida and Florida State. Florida easily won that one. I don't think anyone is surprised by that. And then South Carolina and Clemson. So Clemson, you know, they were up. They had a chance to win this one, and Lenoris Sellers for South Carolina dissected Clemson's defense twice late in the game. South Carolina didn't even lead in this game until Sellers ran that touchdown in with a minute to go. And then Cade Klubnik, Clemson's driving down the field. Cade Klubnik throws an interception. You know, Clemson could have kicked a field goal. I understand you want to go for a touchdown here, but, you know, you got to use a little common sense. And I know Phil Maffa, you know, maybe he could have caught that ball. I don't know. But, you know, with Clemson for the second time in 3 years has lost to the Gamecocks, and they've lost their last 2 to the Gamecocks at Death Valley. And so, yeah. In South Carolina, you know, they keep their playoff hopes alive, even though it's still pretty slim, I think, but South Carolina's still in it. This next game, Syracuse and Miami, and I told y'all I do not trust I do not trust Miami's defense, and it showed in this game. And so what I don't understand, you know, it's late in the game, Mario Cristobal decides to kick a field goal to cut the lead to 4. And instead of going for it on 4th down, at least try to get a touchdown. I don't understand that call, that coaching decision there. And that cost Miami because Syracuse drove down the field, and they were able to seal it. And you're going to put the hands of your defense. You have Cam Ward at quarterback. a Heisman finalist, possibly, maybe, but you're gonna put the game in the hands of your defense. That was a dumb call there. And so Syracuse finishes the season at 9-3, and unfortunately for Miami, um, they have now they're now out of the ACC championship. They had to win this game in order to go to the ACC championship game, and instead that title now goes to Clemson, where they will face SMU next week. North Carolina, NC State, again, defensive issues for Carolina cost them again late in the game. NC State scores a touchdown late to win the game, and this was Matt Brown's final game as the head coach for UNC. He will not be back next year, and he will not be coaching in the bowl game for the Tar Heels. So NC State has now won 4 in a row over the Tar Heels, and so NC State is now bowl eligible. The next game, Louisville at Kentucky. So I was clearly wrong about this one. I know Kentucky's had a down year, but they had owned Louisville up to that point, up until yesterday, and Louisville just beat the brakes off of Kentucky to win the Governor's Cup, and so they have now snapped their losing streak over their in-state rival. I was wrong about this one too. Pitt and Boston College. Pitt. You talk about a season that fell apart. Starting the season off 7-0 and closing out the season with 5 straight losses, and that is not good if you're Pat Narduzzi. SMU and Cal. SMU easily won that game over the Golden Bears to end the season on a perfect note. They in their first year in the ACC, they go undefeated, so good for them. This next game here, Wake Forest and Duke. This was a really good game too, and I don't know if a lot of people were watching this one. I certainly was. I watched a lot of games yesterday. Duke had to actually come from behind to win this one, and Malik Murphy, the quarterback for Duke, if he could have run one more quick play, gotten field goal range, Duke could have won it on a field goal. Now, not in this one. But you talk about busted coverage. The receiver for Duke gets open for a 39-yard touchdown walk-off, and Duke completes the season at 9-3 in Manny Diaz's first year. So Duke has had quite a little run going over these last few years. The 2 years that Mike Elko was there, and now Manny Diaz picks up right where they left off. And so good for the Blue Devils. Another good season for them. And then last but certainly not least, my Virginia Cavaliers, they crapped the bed once again in Blacksburg at the hands of Virginia Tech. And so Pop Watson gets the start for the Hokies, and Tony Muskett actually got the start for UVA, which I'm going to have a separate State of the Program video coming out talking about where things stand for UVA. But Virginia Tech, for the 4th year in a row and for the 23rd time in the last 25 years, has gotten the Commonwealth Cup. And so because of all that, Virginia Tech is bowl eligible once again. All right, so that's recapping the games that took place in Week 14. And as I said, I will have a separate video doing my college football playoff bracket, as well as predicting the conference championship games in FBS, and I'm also going to do my UVA State of the Program video. All right, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.